Okay, real quick here, because the military is getting weird.
Welcome to the Metaverse.
Yeah. This is fun. This is coming from Cointelegraph.com. The headline is U.S. Air Force files trademark application for Spaceverse initiative. Spaceverse. Spaceverse, this is the subheadline. Spaceverse was defined as a secure digital metaverse that converges terrestrial and space physical and digital realities.
What have I been saying for like 10 years on YouTube and podcasts? They're merging the physical and digital worlds.
As well as provides a simulated environment for training.
Oh, yeah, training.
The United States Air Force has filed a trademark application hinting at the military branch potentially expanding into the metaverse. What? According to a Thursday application submitted to the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office, the Department of the Air Force trademarked the word Spaceverse, defined as, quote, a secure digital metaverse that converges terrestrial and space physical and digital realities and provides synthetic and simulated extended reality XR training, testing, and operations environments. It's unclear if the initiative is connected to the U.S. Space Force, which according to its website is organized under the Air Force, but operates as a separate and distinct branch of the armed forces. The trademark application connected to activities in the metaverse followed several from a variety of firms, including credit card companies MasterCard and American Express, footwear and apparel manufacturers like Nike and New York Stock Exchange. The various applications included trademarks on the use of logos and blah, blah, blah. Don't care. Talk about more major brand names. Of the six of the U.S. military Marines, of the six branches of the U.S. military, Marines, Coast Guard, Army, Navy, Air Force, and Space Force, the latter half have previously announced major initiatives aimed at incorporating blockchain technology or otherwise adopting digital assets. And it just goes on to talk about not things that we're talking about, which is the Spaceverse, Gonz. This is, it's interesting. You know, we were talking about the metaverse and how it becomes real, becomes important, becomes a true domain, yes, by the economics that back it up, as we've seen, and is mentioned in this article about big multinational corporations investing in it. But now the U.S. military using the metaverse as, they're saying for training and things, and I'm sure that's part of it. But
right. Ever seen Ender's Game?
Exactly. We're talking about a sort of a war-fighting domain.
Oh, you're just training for a war. It's just a simulation. Mm-hmm. Just step right in. Go ahead. It's all, no, you're not really killing anybody. You're not really killing those alien ants over there.
Yeah, here's a training simulation. Just go ahead, play through, do the best you can. Turns out you're, controlling
murdering
some
a
sort
civilization.
Of robo soldier over in Russia or something.
Right.
Yeah, it really is a very strange, real story, a real thing our military is doing, sort of taking the first step into this like metaverse warfare type of thing. And it, again, connects to what we've been talking about, AI and other sort of cyber warfare battlefields going on right now in Russia and Ukraine, whether it's social media companies becoming war-fighting powers, or using facial recognition, AI, as psychological operations against Russian citizens, face scanning, things like that, or just the utmost importance in this conflict of the hacking community, hacking mercenaries, nationalized IT armies is what they called it in Ukraine. It's really a strange step into the future that this Russia-Ukraine conflict has thrust upon humanity here.
Yeah, definitely so. A couple sort of tangent things to this. Thank you to the producer who sent us this story from Vice.com. Metaverse company to offer immortality through live forever mode. The Somnium Space. I had heard of this project. The death of Psychoff is the CEO and founder of Somnium Space. The death of his father served as an inspiration for an idea that he would come to call Live Forever Mode, the forthcoming feature in Somnium Space that allows people to have their movements and conversations stored as data, then duplicated as an avatar that moves, talks, and sounds just like you and can continue to do so long after you've died. In Psychoff's dream, people will be able to talk to their dead loved ones whenever they wish. His moment of revelation came when he realized that awesome data collection potential of virtual reality, a technology that he called magical when we spoke. Quote, the amount of data we potentially could record about you is probably on the magnitude of, I'd say realistically, 100 to 300 times more than when you're on your mobile phone. He said, isn't it interesting how excited he is about this?
Weird set of numbers, yeah.
Virtual reality technology can collect the ways your fingers, mouth, eyes, and an entire body move and quickly identify you more precisely than fingerprints. Great. Wonderful. Looking forward to live forever mode in the military metaverse. That'll be interesting. That might be a humane way to settle. You know, we still want the blowing up and all that stuff, but we don't really want to die, so we'll just do it in the metaverse and immortality.
Well, our soldiers can live on in the metaverse. Yeah, even
if they die, they'll live on.
Well, and this harkens to the sort of technocratic afterlife that we've been following for many years now, where, you know, the part of the technocracy is not just technology will save humanity. It is technology will make what we've considered the spiritual realm into an accessible realm at any moment. And when your loved ones die, they will be recreated and live forever in the metaverse, and you can visit them whenever you want. I mean, again, you think about the cultural and societal impacts of this. Every person who dies can be sort of recreated and live in a digital form. Of course, not them, but some sort of homunculi of them, some golem, conjured up from the technomancers. And you can visit them whenever you want. And surely there will be people who choose to spend more time in the metaverse with their dead loved ones than outside of it. And, there you go. Things coming true. I mean, there's also the biblical references of, they will wish to die and
seek death, but cannot
seek
die.
Death and cannot die. So, there's a lot of aspects to this. And if nothing else, it is just a macabre dystopian, not future, present. Present. A macabre dystopian present that we live in.
And you always mention how the metaverse, it has to have that economic aspect, the economic engine. And what's happening now, and the reason why, the Space Force or the U.S. Air Force can get into metaverse and all this kind of stuff is because digital property is becoming a real thing. And this is Yahoo Finance mirroring an FX Empire article titled IMF, the International Monetary Fund, targets cryptos and latest global financial stability report. And just the highlights. On Tuesday, the IMF highlighted the use of crypto assets in emerging markets to bypass capital restrictions and sanctions. And it's interesting because they use the word cryptoization, or I guess you can say cryptoization, or I think it's cryptoization, but interesting word in the IMF documents. Quote, risks of cryptoization and sanction evasion through the crypto ecosystem is possible, and how that can be a significant challenge to policymakers.
It's under the auspices of continuing to be able to control the economics of Russia.
Right.
Like with crypto, Russia can still do stuff, so we must regulate crypto.
Right. And then what's interesting is they said that mining for energy-intensive blockchains like Bitcoin can allow countries to monetize energy resources, some of which cannot be exported due to sanctions. So again, it's weird because it's like, I can't tell if they're encouraging that or if it's like, this is bad, we got to do something about it. But it feels like they're just saying like, oh no, this is like an option. So maybe we should regulate it a little bit more because of these reasons. And I don't know, man. It just seems like they're trying to create, because here's the deal. This whole market and everything else, this will become mainstreamed, obviously, in the next decade or so, less than that probably. And you're talking about, as Michael Saylor talks about, he mentions $100 trillion of assets that have nowhere to go, and you know, they're all going to move into crypto because it will be the only safe haven asset as fiat, you know, it falls apart basically.
Sure.
And so if the world governments want to benefit from that, if they want their little piece of the pie when everybody else has that little transition of finance or whatever, and that, you know, the asset class grows, then they have to, you know, put in the guidelines now because they can miss the boat. So anyway, I just thought it was interesting. It's being legitimized. It's being recognized by these authors like Bob Mason, who wrote this article. Is he a Freemason? I don't know. But there you go.
He's a Bob Mason.